Welcome to the show, you guys. I don't know why I'm singing the intro. I'm not singing the theme song, but I don't know what I'm singing. Welcome, Tom and Jim Goldrup. I'm sort of scared about what we're going to talk about tonight because last time I said they're, film historians and actors and writers, and they travel the world and who knows what else. And then you're like, oh yeah, we're Clampets. And I'm like, I would have not pulled that out of anywhere. But anyway, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jeff Greenwald. Next to me is Daniel Dye, who I have been told has not killed Matthew Rose, who is the regular host.
Very unconfirmed.
Sure. Matthew will be back. He will return, just like James Bond, apparently. But welcome, guys. It's always so much fun and very shocking to talk to you because I have no idea what's going to transpire or be pulled out. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I know we're in a rush tonight a little bit, so I want to ask you kind of little snippets about some actors that I'm curious about that I know that you know of or whatever. So let's start. Dan's gonna think this is hilarious once he realizes why I'm asking about this. Let's start. Let's start with Ed Nelson. So Ed Nelson was an actor in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s.
Right.
And when I asked you about him, you guys knew who he was right away. So what films or what did you stories?
First movie I ever remember seeing Ed Nelson in was The Brain Eaters. It was a low-budget horror film that they made back in the 50s. One of those. But
was he Night of the Blood Monster?
He might have been in Night of the Blood Monster. He came in a number of those films. But then he got good serious things. I mean, he did a lot of good TV. I mean, he ended up becoming a regular on, I think it was Peyton Place on the TV series. I think it was Peyton Place. But having, I never met the man, and I don't know anything personal about him outside of seeing some movies. I know he ended up, after he retired from acting, he moved down to New Orleans and Louisiana, and that's where he lived out the final part of his life. And I don't really know what else to say about Ed Nelson.
I have something. So Ed Nelson was, I have come across Ed Nelson through my day job way too often. And once I see him, I can't unsee him. And I just, every time he comes up, I think it's so funny. So the first time that Ed Nelson touched my life was, Dan, Ed Nelson is the college professor in The Brink of Disaster. So we did this Rabbit Ears short called The Brink of Disaster, and he's the professor in it, and everyone hates him. Like, not as an actor, but like his character. Like, and I don't mean in the short, I mean we as writers or
The audience.
Production people on Rabbit Ears hated his guts. And we always go, oh, Brink of Disaster, it's so, that guy, oh. And so I don't think he was meant at the time. I think at the time in the 60s when this was made, it was meant to be a kind of a debate, a social debate short about different values and the changing of times between traditional family values before the 60s and the radicalness of the 60s coming. But with now that it's in 2020, or it was then, 2020, the professor who happened to be the traditional family values guy in the short just seems like a horrible person. Like, because everything he's saying, you're like, oh, no, oh, don't, oh, from like racism to sexism to like, I don't know, but it was, and so we did that short on the show. And then I started seeing him in things. I think the first thing I saw him in was the T-Bird Gang. And it took me about 45 minutes to figure out who he was. I'm like, I know that guy. How do I know that guy? But it came up today because he was in this movie with your acting school friend.
Ben Murphy.
Ben Murphy, thank you. And it was called like the oh, now I can't remember, some horrible made-for-TV movie called like Ben Murphy plays like a spy who's a truck driver, is undercover, his cover is he's a truck driver, but he's really a spy, and he apparently solves espionage crimes that happen on the highway. That's what I could make out of. Anyway, and it
was it in the same universe as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? That would have been a great show.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That's a good movie, yeah.
Yes, it is.
That would have just been brilliant. So it came up today at work. So I just felt like I had to
Ask about it.
ask about it.
And Ben Murphy, he wasn't really a friend. He was a member of our acting workshop. He always stayed kind of aloof. He was doing Alias Smith and Jones at the time. Maybe he thought some people might say, "Hey, can you get me into it?" So he stayed kind of aloof. So he was there, but I never really got to know him.
He was clearly an enemy. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe he was a spy who was infiltrating the acting class
He was infiltrating our
while
acting
not
class.
being a truck driver. I say things on here about movies I really love and would recommend. None of those things I would recommend anyone trying to find. Please don't find them. So another actress who keeps coming up, and I will say that I have a massive crush on her, is Mary Beth Hughes.
We just saw her, Mary Beth Hughes. We just saw her the other night. What movie was that? I know we saw her in Oxbow Incident, and then she played this lady on the stagecoach that would, when people thought that the outlaws were going to come and rob the stagecoach, movie's called El Paso. She would say, "I'll take your wallet, so they won't search me." And then when they get to the town, she immediately disappears with they start looking for their wallet. Oh, wait, Stagecoach Nellie. And everybody laughs. They say, "Oh, you haven't heard about Stagecoach Nellie." But Mary Beth Hughes, yes.
That sounds like The Shakiest Gun in the West, also a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, let's finish with her really quick. So the films that I've seen of hers were also not recommendable. So here's the thing. I really do have this weird crush on this woman. And so I will watch any film with her just because she's in it. But for those of you that don't have weird infatuations with actresses from the 1940s and 50s, who have long since unfortunately passed away, please don't see these films. But I saw her in I Accused My Parents, which was a independently made film by this family rights organization about how to properly parent your kids. And because the parents were terrible people, their son ends up like being a gangster and a murderer and everything. And he comes before the judge and he says, "Your Honor, I accuse my parents." And it was just this big over the top, sappy, ridiculously plotted film. She was in that. And I saw her in something else, and that Western, the Last of the Wild Horses. So, which, by the way, had the exact same plot as Gunfighters. I swear that, like, even the same characters, the same structure. There weren't two sisters. Mary Beth Hughes plays the only sister. She's not a sister because there isn't another one, but the daughter of the ranch guy. So there's not two sisters, but otherwise it's the same plot. Last of the Wild Horses. And I wouldn't say that was a bad movie. It was just an old Western. So I saw her in that, but I guess she's done a lot of Westerns, right? Is that her bread and butter?
She probably did a lot of other things too. I mean, Oxbow Incident is a top-notch, grade A.
Oh yeah.
Henry Fonda is in it, and that's another good Henry Fonda movie. Yeah, we just happened to see 2 movies lately with Mary Beth Hughes. I don't know anything about her.
Oh yeah, no, way before your day. Yeah.
I have someone I'm curious if you know, because I should know this person, is Joanne Woodward.
Oh, she's
Paul
the
Newman's
wife
wife.
of Sometimes a Great Notion guy.
Paul Newman.
Oh, Paul. Wow, how did I not know that? Do you know anything about her?
Back.
Other than she's
Paul Newman. She's got a good career.
She's a good actress.
A good actress, a good person, but nothing really, no.
Oh, okay. Apparently she's my cousin.
He's your cousin? Oh.
Yeah, my original last name was Woodward, and apparently she's in the family.
Your last name was Woodward?
That fit publishing, sir?
What's that?
That fit for publishing?
Is what fit for publishing?
We're live. Is that fit for publishing? Do you really want
that my last name was Woodward?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm just making sure that there's not some weird legal thing going on that we don't know about, and then suddenly.
Oh no, Di is my stepdad's name.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, Morgan Woodward, the actor, is a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
He passed away. He was in the first Gunsmoke.
He came out of Texas.
Yeah, he came. Yeah, he was in the first Gunsmoke of the last season that our brother wrote.
I've met Morgan Woodward, and he's at the time he was a really nice guy.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
He was in a Star Trek.
He was in the Star Daggers of Our Mind or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Dagger of the Mind. Yeah. And he was the doctor who goes crazy because he gets the evil doctor puts him. He's the good doctor under the crazy ray gun, right?
He's also the man with the dark glasses in Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman.
Oh.
The guard with the dark glasses. That you see his eye.
Oh yeah.
I was really young when I
met him. I didn't to communicate.
But I remember him being really nice, like really nice guy.
Yeah, he Ray and Jim and I and Morgan were all really good friends.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
we get phone calls from him.
We used to get phone calls. You know, he passed away a couple of years ago now, but we used to get phone calls from him a lot and have nice chats. Good guy, good actor.
You knew him a lot better than me, but the time I met him, I was just impressed at just how nice he was, right?
Well, Ray told us today. We were talking to Ray when you tried to call us up a little before this. Our brother Ray, we were talking about things, and when Ray was working at How the West is Won down at the MGM, Pam Polifroni, casting director across the way, had her office, and Morgan would go by there, and because he hired Morgan in a lot of things, and he would take her by the arm and go walking down off to lunch somewhere or something, and he'd look over toward Ray and give a big smile and
wink.
Wink, public relations, you do what you got to do in Hollywood to get your next check. Yeah.
He was in a lot of Mission Impossibles too, right?
Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. He did more Gunsmokes than any other actor that wasn't a regular. And yeah, he did all kinds of things.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, very nice guy.